What is up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can see, I'm doing a different eye look. I mean, it's not really showing up as nearly as much like other shadows I've done in the past, but anyways, I'll get to that later. Today I'm going to be doing a different eye look for another Too Faced palette. I know I've probably done a lot of Too Faced palette reviews recently, but they've been rolling out a lot of palettes, so I'm going to try out as many of them as I can. So today I'm going to be trying the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar Eyeshadow Palette. This is the one that is exclusive to Sephora. It's definitely more on the pastel, paler kind of vibe going on. I don't know if this would be universally flattering. I don't think it would be, but just from a first impression standpoint, it doesn't really look universally flattering. But you know what? I'm going to give it a true wear test, see what I think of it. And I'm going to show you guys what I did with this look as well today. If you would like to see the look that I did today using the White Chocolate Bar Eyeshadow Palette, then keep on watching. As you can see, my entire base is completely on and my highlighter's on. I'm wearing more of an iridescent highlighter today because this look is going to be a little bit more like pastel, I would say, hopefully. Don't know how it's going to look, but we'll see. This is the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar Eyeshadow Palette. This one is exclusive to Sephora, and these are all the shades that come in here. I think it's a really cute little palette. It's a cute idea. It's just the problem is that this looks like a white girl palette. These shades look very pasty, I would say. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know how they would go on yet. I have not played with this yet. We'll just try it out and see what happens. So, for my base shade, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is called Banana Date. And then, for my crease, I'm going to go in with this shade, which is called Cake Batter. Not having very much issues yet. The shade Cake Batter did have a lot of kickback, if you can see it right there. So that one is the only negative thing I have to say so far. I'm going to go in with a very pastel pasty shade, and that's going to be right here called Lavender Cake. I'm going to use that one right here on the like little portion of my eye. I love doing bold colors right there or little pops of colors right there. It just kind of makes my eyes look a lot more fun. And for this portion of the eye, I'm just going to add a little bit more color and then kind of smoke it out just a little bit. I'm going to take the shade Frosted Apricot right here, and then to smoke it out, I'm going to take the shade Chocolate Syrup right here. Let's hope there is some pigment to all three of these shades, especially Lavender Cake. So far, this shadow is very dusty. Like, it really is kicking like crazy on my face. Like, I can really see it coming right off. I'm going to try to use maybe like a smaller packing brush just to see if any more pigment can come out of this. It's not nearly as pigmented as I was hoping for it to be. Honestly, if it'll even look closer to what it is in the pan or even brighter, it probably went a lot more of a smoother shade. But so far this one's just not doing anything for me. That shadow barely showed up at all. Honestly, it does not even look like I put it on. And this is definitely not the color Chocolate Syrup. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, it should be like a rich, chocolatey color. Even if it's like metallic, it would just look a lot better in my personal opinion. But no, that is not really working very well. So I'm going to go in with Smoked Sea Salt, which I feel like it just would not make this look any better, honestly. But I'm going to go in with it. See if it will make any more drama to my eye or anything like that. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Pearl Candy right here, which is going to be my inner corner and brow bone highlight shade. I don't know how that's going to be. We'll have to see. Our Pearl Candy was more pigmented when I used my finger. Not still really wowing me that much. I mean, it is very stark white, so I mean, whatever. And for my lid, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, Sugared Raisin. I'm going to definitely wet my brush because this will not probably pick up at all by itself, just by seeing what the other shadows are doing. So I will definitely wet my brush to see how that one will go. And then for my lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this gorgeous shade right here, which is called Mint Chocolate. So we'll see how that one goes as well. My eyes are pretty much done. I'm going to go throw on some lashes and a lip, and I will be right back. The look is now complete. I went in with the Beauty Bakery Lip Whip in the shade Petty Cakes because I love this color just to go with like a really nice neutral-ish eye. So, I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts before I go about this white chocolate bar palette from Too Faced. Honestly, first impression of the colors, I thought this was like a white girl palette. Like, this palette looks like something that a deeper complexion or a medium skin tone complexion cannot use. Definitely a more pastel palette. Now, if you are a deeper complexion that you want to do pastel colors, you can still do those. No one is stopping you from doing anything that you want to do when it comes to makeup. In general, I feel like these colors probably will not pop or show up properly on a deeper complexion, and that's the one thing I have an issue with, because I like palettes that are meant for everyone. I hate palettes that are categorizing into one section, like one tone, if that makes sense. Because I know for a fact that pastel colors look great on deeper skin tones if they're done correctly, if they have a lot of pigment, if they show up properly. Let's just say that right now. Those that I used, Cake Batter and Banana Date, those were completely fine. They worked for me. The Cake Batter was like my nice transition shade. My Banana Date was good for all over the lid. Cake Batter had a little bit of kickback, so that was one negative thing. Lavender Cake. Lavender Cake would have been such a pretty shade if it was closer like this, if it was a little bit more bright and intense. It also had a lot of dusty kickback on the eye area, and right now I feel like I can barely even see it. So honestly, that was a big for me. Syrup and Smoked Sea Salt, these two right here. I feel like the shades Guilt Free, where is it? Guilt Free, Smoked Sea Salt, and Indulge right here should not have been in this palette. I don't know what they are, it is about those colors, but those colors are really not going and vibing with me properly. I just don't know how to explain it. I feel like this palette could have been such a better palette if it were to have had more pops, like more bands, not as much of this cooler toned, grayer toned colors. Those ones did not really show up. Smoked Sea Salt showed up a lot more, but Chocolate Syrup was almost non-existent to me. And Sugared Raisin right here, that one did go on pretty nicely when I did wet the brush, but by itself, it doesn't really look like a raisin, sugared raisin color. It really just looks like a white with a lilac shift, and I think it looks pretty, but it could have been a deeper color, and it probably would have popped a lot more, especially on my skin tone or a medium skin tone complexion or anything like that. It could have just done a lot more, if that makes sense. Frosted Apricot, this shade was actually really pretty. It reminds me of the Sweet Peach palette because of that like peachy shade. So that one was okay. That one showed up a lot more when I packed it on as well. Pearl Candy was pretty. It was more chunky white, and I'm not really loving how it was chunky white and it got all over my nose. But I mean, it's pretty. And last but not least, Mint Chocolate. That one actually was a nice shadow. That one went on really smoothly. It came out really nicely. I will have to see how it will look all over the lid, but for under the waterline area, it did pop a lot more. So now that we're done talking about the shadows, what do I think of this palette? I do not recommend it for you guys. The reason being is because, I mean, Too Faced has decent shadow formula. In my personal opinion, I think it's decent. I would say decent. It's not a bad shadow formula, but this one just did not take the cake. Not really perform the way I wished it would have. The color range is very, like I said, ashy, and it just doesn't pop as much as it could have. If I was thinking white chocolate, I would be thinking like raspberry rose, for example. I would think like a raspberry shade, lavender. I would think about like a deeper, like more of a lilac-y purple shift color. I would have just done a lot more with the options that you had. I would have just done a lot more pop, and you really didn't get that with this palette. And I feel like that's the reason why I'm not recommending it for you guys, because I think palettes like this, for example, I think it should be universally flattering, and this is not universally flattering, not even on me. I don't think it works on me either. So I mean, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it to you guys unless I was truly in love with it or truly liked it. Don't know if I'm gonna return it or not. I'm gonna play with it a little bit more just to kind of see if there's anything I can salvage out of it. But if not, this is definitely a no for me, because I mean, for example, Too Faced just released the Clover palette and the Chocolate Gold. I recommend the Chocolate Gold every single day. That one's a really pretty palette. This one just did not do the same thing. That is the end of this video. Make sure you thumbs it up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Just so you know, this palette is exclusive to Sephora. If you did want to pick it up, there's just nothing about it that says $50 worth. You know what I mean? It's not worth the $50 in my personal opinion, just because the shadows didn't perform the right way. I'm trying to say, like, I'm sorry that I said no to this, but at the same time, I'm not going to give you guys yes, you need to go get it if I don't love it. And I just didn't love it. It just didn't work the way it should have for me. And there's just so many other shadow palettes, even from Too Faced, that just works a lot better. So anyways, love you. Bye.